we had this project where we had to make a perfect cube, and it couldn't be more than like 1/16 of a centimeter or inch off or whatever. And he would come around with his electronic ruler and he would measure it. And if it was wrong, he would just smash it. And he would do it over and over.
You're listening to the Angry Designer Podcast, where we help frustrated graphic designers survive and thrive. This week, we're bringing you a live recording from Creative South 2024, beginning a new series of event-based interviews called The Angry Designers Live.
What's up, Angry Designers? Today we have yet another interview. We always start like that, right?
Yeah.
I hate that. Okay, but we're not even going to bother with that, okay? This is the Angry Designers Live, and we're live from Creative South in Columbus, Georgia. And we have an awesome speaker from the event here that we've got with us. And this is kind of a fun conversation with our new friend, Kaila Pettis.
Yes.
Pettis? Did I get it?
Yeah,
right?
Kaila
I don't want to
Pettis.
say petty. We have a customer in this funny place, but yeah.
You know what's crazy? When I was in school, people would, like, when they do roll call, they'd be like, Kaila Petty. And I'm like, where do you
get
what is going
See,
on
so
here?
I'm not that far off then,
No.
okay? So
No.
I'm not wrong.
No, not at all.
So how did it go? How did they on
It was
stage
good.
today?
It was really weird because I couldn't really see. So I was like, are they feeling it? Are they
Just
not
'cause of all
feeling
the
it? I was kind of
lights?
just like, it was so dark. You know, it was so
Oh,
dark
the
looking.
audience. Yeah, it was kind of creepy.
It was kind of
right?
dark. So I was like,
And you had all these spotlights on you.
yeah. So I was like, I think they're laughing. I don't know. I'm just going to keep talking.
But with your history, it's like spotlights, lights, bright places. You think you would have been used to this, right?
A little bit, maybe. I'm usually
yeah,
behind the
right.
scenes, though. You know, like
Oh, fair.
somewhere in a
fair,
press
fair,
box.
fair.
You know, like
Yeah.
just calling orders.
Yeah, right. Well, calling orders or not, I don't know. But like, it is, your story's a crazy story because you're kind of like the most unlikely person to end up where you are.
Yeah.
And then to top that off, you then almost kind of like, you know what, guys, as amazing as this is, I'm going to put this on pause. I'm just going to do my own thing right now. I might make money. I might not. Who cares? I'm going to do this for me. So, I mean, I think this is hilarious to actually. And so I was like, oh, God, we should talk about this a little bit because I think your story is pretty inspiring for anybody. So, you know, of course, we hit graphic designers. You know, we hit all kinds of designers, UX designers. I don't think we have any industrial designers, but regardless, I think your story would resonate.
Okay.
And the people that your story is about is even crazier. So where do we start?
Man,
Where'd you start?
where did I start? Oh, man. I started in Chicago, Illinois.
Very cool.
From
Very
Chicago.
cool.
Yeah, I had no idea what I wanted to do growing up. My mom worked for Metro, which is the train in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
My dad worked at the Board of Trade, so a lot of stock stuff, right? So I grew
Yeah.
up on the stock floor. But I literally had no idea, but I was really, really good at math. Like, when I say good at math, I was like really good. That's probably why I'm good at Connect Four. Some puzzle math behind that. I don't know, but
I can see how that would help this.
maybe.
No.
But I was really good at math, and I loved to draw. So I was always that kid in class that was drawing on everybody's notebook.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, "Oh, can you draw this?" And by next period, I'd deliver it. And I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna start charging $1 for every sketch now, right?"
you?
I did.
Good for you.
I was making money in grammar school, right? Like we were getting to the dollars. hustler. But I went to college for sports, right?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I'm going to be this star athlete. Tore my ACL.
Yeah.
And I went in undecided. I was, like I said, I was really, really good at math, really, really good at, engineering type. I was like, oh, architecture.
So wait. You got to school on a scholarship for sports?
Yeah, for sports, yeah.
And then you tore your ACL and they didn't
Tore
kick
my
your ass out?
ACL, and I couldn't bounce back.
Really?
I couldn't bounce back, and
Did you lose a scholarship because of that?
Well, let me tell you why. It's just it is self-inflicted. I was playing rugby, and I wasn't supposed to be playing rugby. But it was right behind my dorm, the pitch.
Yeah.
The movie Underclassmen came out with Nick Cannon, and he was playing rugby. And I was just like, I've never seen this before, so let's try it. I mean, I'm from Chicago, inner city. We didn't have rugby.
Yeah.
So I was like, let's do it. I was really, really strong. My legs were huge. And so I was like running and carrying people on my back. But at the time, you pass backwards.
Yeah.
And so I literally went to pass and just tore my ACL. And I was like, how do I actually say that I did this? And
Because you're like on a contract.
you're not supposed to do
right?
that type of stuff. So I was in a little bit of trouble, but at the time, we're jumping all over the place here, but
It's okay, it's fun.
I had experience in shooting video.
Yeah.
And so they were like, well, Illinois football, you can work for the football team and shoot video. And I was like, I'm going to do that. So I ended up finishing out just recording video for the football team. And that was when social media was really picking up on the sports side. So I was like, I'm going to make video mixtapes for the football team. And I just kept doing that. And that was really what got me through the rest of college. But it was very random. I was an industrial design major.
Totally random.
I was an industrial. Even that is crazy, like I said.
So wait, so then, okay, so you had that crazy experience. And then you started in design. And then, it was math. And
I was huge in math.
And you would love to draw.
I love to
draw.
draw.
So you ended up industrial design.
Yes, but I got to tell you how we got there because
this is good.
I'd never heard of industrial design.
Yeah.
Ever.
It's a thing.
I'd never heard of it. And I was like, I'm going to be an engineer. Architecture, okay. So I went to the architecture lectures because I went in like general, whatever, undecided. I was in the architecture lecture and I kept falling asleep.
I would too. But I get it.
And the professor was like, if you can't stay awake, this isn't the major for you. And I was just like, okay, this isn't going to work.
Can you imagine hearing that? If you can't stay awake.
I was so embarrassed. But I was like, I can't stay awake, so maybe this isn't for me. And I was still taking all my gen eds. And I was like, I'm going to take drawing because, College of Art and Design. I was like, I'm just going to take drawing 101. I literally was walking through the galleries and I saw these sketches of cars and products and things, and they were like
cool,
profound. And I was just like, that is sick. How do I do that? And they were like, that's the industrial design course, but you have to apply to get in there. And I was like, I don't know about that. But truly, I took the drawing classes and I put together a portfolio, applied, and I actually got in. So I was already taking engineering courses. So they were like, it's a mix between design and engineering.
It is.
Truly. Yeah. And so I was like, let's go. This is perfect. This is for me. And crazy enough, my grandma, I had to take a foreign language. And they were like, my grandma's like, why would you go take Spanish? And you took Spanish in elementary and all that stuff. And I was like, all right, what do you want me to take, Granny? And she's like, where are all products made?
Well, China.
I took Mandarin Chinese. So,
girl, that's smart. We saw that.
Yeah.
You speak Chinese?
Brilliant.
I speak Mandarin. Yeah, but traditional. I didn't like keep it up because after college and I worked, I was like, I don't know what I want to do next. I never ended up using it until we got like a player that was actually, I could communicate with a player. But it's wild. I still have the keyboard on my phone.
Well, good on your grandma. Holy cow.
Yeah, Granny was like, you need to do something.
What insight there. That's mind blowing, actually. Okay, so that's good. That's good future planning.
Shit, yeah.
All right. Okay. But that still doesn't line up with the rest of your story.
No.
So keep going.
Oh man, this story is crazy. No, I got my degree in industrial design. I had a job right out of college, which I'm very fortunate for. But I did put in the work. I was doing some work, and then. Like I said, I've always loved sports. Everybody around me was playing sports. I was like, I have to get back into sports. So my boyfriend at the time was an athlete, and he was just like, brand me, make me a logo, make me a website. And I was shooting videos. He was like, I want a mixtape and all these things. I was like, all right, let's do it. So I made the video, and he ended up getting a contract based off everything that I had made from him because he was sending them to scouts and recruits, and they were using that to communicate with the teams overseas.
Cool.
And so I was like, this is a thing? Like, okay, I had never heard of it. You don't typically hear about those types of things. And so I was like, man, there's a way for me to combine everything I'm doing and still stay in sport. I have to do it. And so I just kept taking every opportunity I could to. I was shooting videos for NBA players and all types of stuff. And I was like, this is lit right here. But I wasn't really getting paid much because I was kind of just trying to get a feel for, does this work? And I was just like, hey, I'll shoot your video. I was doing it for free. I was like, hey, Andre Drummond, you just came up in the draft. I want to shoot your video. Hey, I'm making graphics.
They're not like, go away, go away.
They love things of themselves. And at the time, they were, they were like, yeah, I'll repost it on my Instagram. And it was like...
The key to success, stroke someo's ego.
Stroke their ego. And so they were like,
you're doing a great job, Kaila. I just want to say, you are awesome, girl.
Yeah, I was like, I'll do you some free graphics, man. You gonna promo me on your page? Deal. Right. I didn't care about money back then. I was like, I'm gonna go viral.
That's amazing. Okay, go on.
Yeah, but no, truly, I was doing that. I ended up going to work at Washington State out in Pullman, Washington. Yeah. And from there, just truly, that's what took it off. I was out there for 9 months, and it was like, I kept getting hungrier and hungrier and hungrier. And I was like, I could do more. I could do more. I could do more. Yeah. And I was limited in these positions. And so eventually I landed in Atlanta.
Yeah.
After New Jersey, I was up there with Coach Stringer, which was awesome just to be working for a legend, a basketball legend.
Yeah.
Got to, Atlanta, worked for Atlanta United. That was a pivotal big pivot in my career because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I knew I was like, I want to keep climbing and be a great designer. I was doing video, I was doing animation. I could do everything. I do 3D from the industrial design stuff. I was building out
Like you're so broad in like
It
what
was
you're doing.
so
right?
many things,
that's
and I
good,
was
that's
like,
good.
let's combine all of these, because at the time no one was doing that. You didn't have people making 3D motion graphics on Twitter at that time. So I was like, let's do all of that. I want to build out award shows. You know, like when you're in college, they have like award ceremonies and things like that. I was doing the stadium animations in 3D and stuff, and they were like, yeah, we don't have to pay an agency. Great. Keep this girl. Keep this girl.
Yeah.
And I was just offering so many different things. But I'm grateful that I took all those opportunities, because if I hadn't, I wouldn't have the skill set that I have now. So it was just like, okay, I'm continuously learn, continuously build.
Yep.
And on top of that, I can speak Chinese. You know, you can't go wrong with that. You can't go wrong there. But I was like, man, let's just keep learning, growing, and building. Got to Atlanta, and I actually had a great boss.
Yes.
That's the key to this, is like, I'm very receptive to feedback. I'm very receptive, and actually, I'll go back 1 second to college, right?
Okay.
My college professor was a butthole,
It seems like they all are. It's a common thread, but
but I love him. We still have a relationship to this day.
yeah.
So his name is Cliff Shen. Shout out to him. He's an industrial designer. He worked with LG. He was like this decorated professor. He was awesome, and he just, no, you failed me. He ripped my stuff up. We had this project where we had to make a perfect cube, and it couldn't be more than like 1/16 of a centimeter or inch off or whatever. And he would come around with his electronic ruler. I don't even know what that's called. And he would measure it. And if it was wrong, he would just smash it. And he would do it over and over. I think I spent like over 20 hours in studio on failed things, but he was teaching you not to get attached to your work. I'm not the client. You know, like, I'm trying to satisfy your brief. Maybe I'm approaching it in a way that it's not even satisfying the brief. I'm just trying to get some stuff done, right? So, but he was really trying to teach us not to get attached to your work, be able to get feedback. It's going to be tough. It's going to be rough. So by the time I got into the sports industry and I was working and people were like, I don't like that, I was just like, okay, cool. I was just, but not everyone does that. Some people are like, like, you don't like my work?
Wow, though, still good on you. What a great lesson.
But that was such a
Harsh,
lesson. But I
wow,
hated it.
good.
Like, I hated it. And then when I graduated, he used to call me Koala. I don't know why. But when I graduated, he gave me a little photo of one of the products he designed, and it just said, "Great job, Koala." And I was just like, oh my God, I did it. I made it. I made it. And so he sends me
that's a
little
good
messages.
teacher experience. I remember the teachers that I hated. Well, two of them did nothing for me, but there was one in high school, and it was the same kind of vibe. Okay, you're college, but still, it was like, I hated her, but she was the only teacher in that school that was going to actually help me graduate.
Yeah.
And so I went back to her, my tail tucked between my legs, and I was like, you know what? I know we've had our differences, but you're the only person here that's going to kick my ass enough to help me graduate. So will you help me? And all of a sudden, she was like, yeah. I will. And she was, one of two teachers that the only reason I went back. So, it's kids.
It's funny because you said that he's a butthole.
Yeah.
But he was obviously so helpful.
Yes. And I tell them all the time, I'm big on that. It's tough love.
Yeah.
It's tough love. I'm big on that. When people teach you things or offer you, like, initially it hurts. Like, my boss in Atlanta, I sent her a text and I was like, I'm shouting you out on the stage today. And she's like, just stop it. What's wrong with you? Like,
stop crying about it already.
No, she's like, I need you to understand, it's very important to have people that impact you in such a huge way. Like, you've impacted my career. You gave me an opportunity. You let me run. Like, I appreciate you. Like, I need to scream that from the rafters, because that's not something that you get frequently, especially in this industry, right? Yeah. Someone that'll just say, hey, I trust you, go for it. You're brilliant. I'm like, thank you. But she was also a pain in my rectum too, like, the amount of revisions and like phone calls I got, and I was like, I did this wrong. But I love tough love. It'll sharpen you up.
Right? And not to be so precious that you can't handle it. Yes. But that's a whole other podcast altogether, okay? All right?
No, for sure.
All right. Okay, so now let's get back to where we were.
Right,
so here you are stroking the egos of all these athletes. You're helping them with all these broad skills that you have. And then what happens next?
Oh, man. Like I said, I started working on the team side.
Yeah.
I got hired and I went on the team side. So started in college sports, was in Washington, then went to Rutgers. And I loved it. But, when you're in college sports, you work amongst, I had 12 sports.
Yeah.
And so I had to give each of them their own brand so that they were distinguishable between the others. So if you saw them on our social feed, it's like, this is football versus volleyball versus soccer or women's golf or whatever. And I was just like, man, why am I? This is a 24/7 grind right here. I was traveling every other day because I traveled with the team. And I was just like, okay, this is great, but how do I grow?
Yep.
How do I grow? Like, what'll take me to the next level? And I felt like I was at the ceiling. I hate feeling like my head is hitting the ceiling, right? And so I was like, what's next? I had an opportunity to come up in Atlanta, and I went to Atlanta United.
Yep.
And actually, when I got there, it was Falcons because they're under the same ownership group. And they're like, you want football? You want soccer? Football or football?
Football, okay? Football.
And here comes Granny again. And Granny's like, well, soccer's global.
Yeah.
And I was like, Granny, you got a point. Let's do it. Because I didn't really have an affiliation with either one. I was like, I really don't care. But the guy that I came in with, he was like, I want football. And I was like, you can have it. I'll take the soccer team. Yeah. And we made a run for it.
Awesome.
We made a run for it and did some amazing work. Some of the best work of my career, truly.
Yeah.
And man, just put the pedal to the metal after that. Just kept going. I kept striving to keep doing more and more things.
Just hustling your way through.
Hustling my way through. I would like to say that I brought them a championship. I always say that because every team I go to, they seem to do pretty well. Then when I leave, it's like,
then they don't do so.
It's like, I'd like to say that you should keep me around. You should probably keep me. Try your best to keep me around at least. I'm the good luck charm. Oh man, but we won the championship. We won the creative team of the year. I got to lead the team over a course of years, and it was just like, all right, this is getting monotonous now. We're doing the same thing over and over. We can't break any more records. We can't win. I mean, there's nothing else to strive for. Opportunity comes. Cincinnati, worst team in the league. It was awful. They were all. I mean, like at the bottom of the bottom. They were the worst team in the league 3 years in a row.
Yeah. And they're like, we need some luck. Call Kaila because again, we need to win something.
Man, shout out to Meg Ryan, her name. She brought me to Cincinnati, and I didn't know Meg from anyone else. And she was just like, yes, I'm going to hire you. And she hired me and brought me there. I built a team. I mean, when I say I built a whole team, I had to build a whole team, start from scratch.
Yeah.
And it was really another pivot because in Atlanta, I was still doing all the creative. I was leading all the creative. When I got to Cincinnati, it was like, no, you're truly a leader. You're a manager. You're going to sit in senior leadership. You're going to report to ownership groups. You're going to communicate with our clients, our sponsors, all the above. So it was like a huge switch up.
Yeah.
Swift. I like that word. It was a huge switch. A huge switch up for me, but it taught me so much. And I was just like, I don't really miss a design because I'm empowered now. I'm getting to help so many people develop, teach them how to get to my position because I didn't have anyone to say, hey, this is how you get to this role or here's what you're going to be doing now or whatever. So I was like, this is okay. This is hot. Stayed there for 2 years and did amazing things there. Built the team, opened retail stores, got the team to the top 3 finish. I just, I wasn't on the field, but if, I was there. I was on the field.
She was there. She's the lucky charm.
I was inside that ball.
Yes.
I was inside that
So when you
ball.
say built the team, like, what do you mean? Like,
man. So when I got there, we didn't have a social team kind of set up properly. We didn't have team photographers. We had one designer at the time, well, 2 designers at the time. So I hired a team photographer, digital asset coordinators, found us a motion graphics person, worked with stadium. I mean, like when I say I was building a team, it was like, okay, hired social.
There was nothing in place.
There was nothing in place that was, no.
Yeah.
Because when you come from a USL team, you go to a situation where everyone's doing a little bit of everything.
Yep.
So you don't really grow because it's like you're just patching holes everywhere. You're not really building anything. And I was like, guys, we got to build this thing. We didn't even have a project management system. I got us software. I mean, just when I say the bare minimum, time tracking, figuring out how to communicate with clients, offer them digital strategies. It was just like, we're building this thing. We're building this thing. So
awesome.
It was a great opportunity for me too to see like, man, are you actually good or were you relying on all the people around
That's like
you?
the real test, right?
So it was
and that'd
like,
be a test for you too.
Yeah,
right?
it was
Not
a test.
just so you can feel validated that I can do this.
And then once I started breezing through those partner meetings and hitting up our biggest name partners and things like that, I was like, oh, I got this. I'm great. Like I'm good. I know what I'm doing. This is easy. Like, let's go.
Nuts.
Let's go. And then just in January, I was like, let me just take a break. I've been at this since 2016 nonstop. 2014 really. I was like, let's stop and try to figure out, refocus. What are you passionate about? What do you want next? You've done everything you said you wanted to do. You've made history. Like, what do you want to do?
Like, this is nuts because you're like, what, 21 at this point?
Oh my God. I'll take it. Thank you. I
No, but
appreciate
for real though, I mean, you started young. You are young. You know,
Yeah, I'm
you've
32. I'm
already
32, so
done
I'm young.
so much
Yeah.
in your career. At that point, working with huge teams, and it's like you're proving yourself this formula that you just rinse and repeat. And now you decide to take a break. This is usually when people go nuts, and good for you.
That's the hard part, though. That's the hardest part.
Self-awareness is something that people need and they don't have. So, I mean, good for you, because otherwise you could have been burning yourself out.
Yeah.
You could have been hating on this. And granted, your pivot was totally crazy, because now you're doing stuff that is like, it's tied, but it's so personally fulfilling.
Yeah.
Right? So what happened then? You decided to take a sabbatical.
I took a sabbatical. Actually, like, I'll talk about it. I lost both my parents. I lost my grandparents. And
I didn't know.
I had lost everyone within like literally a 2 since COVID.
Yeah.
It was just like nonstop. And so I was just like, man, all this time I spent chasing this dream, trying to, and two, I'm from Inglewood, Chicago. It's like the ghetto, right?
Yeah,
so I'm
yeah.
like, we didn't have a lot of opportunities and stuff like that. So I was real passionate about like making something. So I was like, I spent so much time away from home, living in all these different states. I've been in 6 different states within the past 10 years, right? So it's like, it's hard to build something there. And I was away from home. I was like, I want to actually sit down and focus on what's truly important. And that's something that I'm always telling people when they come up to me, like especially the younger designers. I'm like, make sure you take your time. That's why I was there preaching like, get out of here at 5 o'clock. I don't keep my people late. Like you have to go live your life, because time waits for no one, right? That's one thing you can't get back. And this design will be here in the morning. At the end of the day, realistically, your client is home. Like at those bigger brands, like we slave to like get them done, and it's like they're at home though, so they won't see it till the morning anyway. So you might as well go home, relax, and you can knock this off.
No such thing as a design emergency, you know?
Yeah, I saw that sticker somewhere around here. Like, no such thing as a design emergency. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to take some time to figure out what fulfills me.
Yeah.
You know, like, what do I want to do? And so for that, unfortunately, it's still work. It's still creating. It's still, but it's fulfilling work, right? Like, so I bring everything I love into everything that I do. Whether it's even when I was on the team side, I love sneakers. So I was like, we're going to do custom sneakers. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Like, I'm going to find a way to work it in and get a partner. You know, you start talking money. They're like, okay, let's go. I was like, how can this bring me revenue? I was like, hey, well, we can attach a sponsor to this and auction it up. They're like, oh, sold. You know, like,
nice.
Easy. So I always find a way to bring something that because you offer a little something different too when you do that. It's not just rinse and repeat. It's like, I've got a unique lifestyle and backstory. Let me bring some of that so that you can get something different from what everyone else is doing.
So it's more than just having the skill. It's like you've got to bring yourself to this, your personality, your own brand, your own magic, your own spice, and that's what's working for you.
That's working for me.
Because you took the sabbatical, you took some time off,
Yeah.
and you ended up doing what?
Everything I wanted to do, right? Like now I'm getting to collaborate. I mean, I'm about to work in golf. I've never worked in golf. That's something that's huge for me. I was like, this is going to be interesting.
Well, let's talk about these sneakers. You're a sneakerhead. Wait. What?
Yeah, the sneakers.
I mean, that was just like, I mean, that's you had me at sneakers.
I had you.
All
Okay,
right,
let's go to the
right?
sneakers.
And
Let's
you
go to
just
the
kind of
sneakers.
over like, oh yeah, we got some sneakers auction off. Okay, move on.
Yeah. No, sneakers. I have an addiction. It's very bad. I'm at the point now where I can't buy any more shoes because I don't have anywhere to put them.
Yeah.
I used to have them in my office, and I actually had to move my sneaker wall into my closet in my bedroom, which means I had to condense my closet. So I had to get rid of a whole bunch of clothes. I was at Goodwill, you know, oh my God. Because I got to make these sneakers fit, but I'm tied to all of them. So I was like, I can't let them go.
And that's cool.
And
but then you
it's been
started
crazy.
doing the customizing of the sneakers for everybody.
Everybody. Oh
and
my God.
did you use your connections for this? Like, how did this start? Or is this like starting over?
You know what's crazy?
You got some big names on there that you're doing sneakers for. It's ridiculous.
You know what's so funny? I did my first pair of custom sneakers in high school.
Oh, shit.
I didn't even know that. I just found that out. I was looking through some old pictures on Facebook, right? And I saw some when I was in like 6th grade, and oh my God, God bless them, they paid me to paint on their shoes.
Yeah.
In high school, I had no idea what I was doing. I'm pretty sure they didn't last more than an hour when they did wear them, but
unbelievable.
I would say that's probably where it started, and I didn't even think about it. And then, man, when I did my first pair, probably in college, I started doing shoes. And again, just being tied to sports, I was like, here, wear these. Or here, like, I'm going to make these for you. And I wasn't doing them. I was doing everything for free. That was the thing. It was like, you buy the shoe, I got you. Like, I'm not buying your shoe. I'm not buying your shoe. But you buy the shoe, I'll just, whatever theme you had. And people would just send me themes. And then eventually, honestly, I kept posting my work on social media.
Yeah.
And people start sliding in the DMs. And they were like, I need this pair, or can you make these for me? Or I just got people to wear them. And believe it or not, I got to do some shoes for Rebel Wilson.
Yeah.
The Lakers shoes for Rebel Wilson. And I have a crazy story about that. We were in Atlanta, and I was at this event called 29 Rooms, and every room was an experience.
Cool.
And one of these experiences, I was sitting next to a lady, and we're complete strangers. We just had to go and sit at a table and have conversation. So, which was very awkward, but it was very interesting. So at first I thought this lady was a lunatic because she was like, "Hey, my name's Bama." And I was like, okay, whatever that stands for, but she was awesome. I love her. Shout out to Bama. But she's like, "I'm a stunt double." And so I'm like, this lady's clearly off her rockers.
Yeah.
Like she was just and
just to decide to do that.
She was being honest, but like the way she was saying it, and then I've never come across a stunt double in my life where they were like, "Yeah, I'm a stunt double when I do X, Y, and Z, blah, blah, blah. And I love shoes. I'm gonna open a shoe store." And I'm just like, okay, girl, like
wow.
whatever you say. But we ended up exchanging information, and when I left the experience, because you're not supposed to be on your phone, when I walked out and I looked at my phone, I was like, she is a stunt double. Like, she wasn't lying. Like, it was just random.
Yeah.
And she's actually Rebel Wilson's stunt double.
Right. Wow.
And so she's like, "Hey, we want to do some kicks for Rebel," and it just kept going, just random connections. It wasn't anything planned. And then from there, you keep posting, and people are like, "I want that, I want that, I want that," and you just keep, that endless cycle of social media.
Jeez. Jeez, your story is like totally about self-awareness and hustle.
It's
Like, really?
and with a healthy dose of confidence. You're so confident. Well, you're just gonna go roll into golf. It's like, I don't know anything about this.
I don't know anything
fuck
about
it,
golf,
I'm
but
doing
we
it.
could do it. Yeah, because it's like, I'm always big on first experience. Like, you have to experience something to know.
Yeah.
I was at the restaurant last night, and someone got me to eat an oyster or a mustard roll, some food that I don't even eat.
Be careful.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't eat that, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna try it, because if I don't try it, I will never know. Now I know that's not my thing, but but I tried it, right? And so
It's not my thing.
I approach projects the same way. I mean, I've done some projects that I absolutely hated. I was like, never again. And then I've had projects I was like, the soccer thing. Like, I was like, I don't care about soccer, but let's just see what happens. And we built an empire.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm like, let's go.
Awesome, dude. That is awesome. I mean, I don't even know what to say about you. I mean, there's so much to you to give. What would you say to anybody out there right now? Because, so, we've got listeners on the low end who are just starting.
Yeah.
We got listeners on the high end who are like tired after doing this for 20 years and not feeling like they're getting to where they go.
Yeah.
Is there a common thread?
Man, you know what's crazy? I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to pull it out.
Yeah.
So I have this like note in my phone, right? And I'm always, because I don't remember anything, but there's always, because people always say like, what advice would you give someone, right?
Yeah.
And I think it just depends on where you are, what you're looking for. So one of my biggest things is burnout, work-life balance, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe in work-life balance. That's just me personally. I believe in alignment and harmony. You know your priorities, right?
Alignment and harmony.
Alignment and harmony. You know
love
your
that.
priorities, because if you're a dad and you're like, say you work a lot, right? You're a dad and you have a kid at home. What's your priority? Your kid at home, right? It should be.
Hell yeah.
Right? So you're not going to stay until 8 p.m. because you want to make sure that you get home in time to do your kid's homework, right? So that's your priority right there. So you're going to align your life to make sure that you can do that. So if you have to delegate some work, I'm going to delegate that to my partner to make sure that I'm home for my kid, right? Like, it should never be a situation where you feel like you have to choose between work, family, blah, blah, blah. Like, there's no such thing as work-life balance. It's just what you align yourself to, what you believe is a priority. And I truly believe that, because you can make it happen, right?
Yeah, totally.
And you have to let it go. So
I love that, man.
There's like I said, I keep nuggets to myself sometimes, because I'm like, let's just share some random nuggets out of my out of my thing. But also for me too, I got in a situation where when a job is no longer servicing me, so it's like, am I getting more out of you than you're getting out of me? That's a big thing for me. It's like, I'm at this job, okay, I'm burnt out every day.
Yep.
I've already hit my ceiling. I can't learn anything more. Why am I still here?
Yeah.
Outside of a paycheck. Because I can get a paycheck from other jobs. You can go to another job and get a paycheck.
Yeah, you're right.
So
You're right.
if you're miserable at your job and you have a skill set, and there's a million companies hiring. I know it's a little hit or miss with the job market too, but it's like, why am I at this specific company? What am I getting out of it? When they're like running me dry, why am I here? Right? So I think knowing too, like making sure that I'm getting more out of this than they're getting out of me is important.
love that. You know what? Because everybody always thinks it's the paycheck. It's always about the paycheck. But no, because You can go and just, check in, check out, clock in. But if you're not getting anything out of that, you're right. Like, this is now taking back control.
Taking back control.
Even if you're working for somebody else.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's like turning a negative for some people into a positive. Because, we were talking a couple of weeks ago about being in a really bad working environment, right? Sometimes being in a bad, working for a bad boss or this or that. And if you're just, sitting back and sucking it up, they have all the control. But if you can learn from that while you're there, right? Stick it out for 6 months, learn everything you can from that shitty environment, that just, whatever. And even if it's just what not to do, right? At least you've taken back control. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that.
That's a huge thing for me. Just making sure that you have that opportunity because I'm not going to lie, I'm going to say the company, but I've had a job where I was like, this is absolutely, I cannot stand being here. I'm not going to be here.
Yeah.
But I was in a position where I was learning a ton, and I was like, I'm in a position where I probably won't have this opportunity anywhere else, so let me learn as much as I can. Let me get everything that I can get. I'll deal with the other stuff. It's an 8-hour day, whatever. Like, we'll get through that. But, like, I've gained so much from this opportunity. I'm not even tripping over my boss being a psychopath. Let's go. Let's go. Like, I'll take the crazy for a couple of months, and then I'm going to take this, I'm putting it on my resume, right?
Yeah.
Like, show everything that I was able to build, and let's go. Yeah. Let's go.
That's so true. You get your vibe on all this, your passion on all this. I love this. This is the energy that we need, right? This is the energy the podcast is about.
You got to have it, man.
Yeah, right?
You got to
Well, you're right, eh? And then what do you do when all of a sudden, like, you lose that energy? Or somebody's, like, just close to being burnt out? How do you get that back? Because it sounds like you've been on that line a few times.
I've definitely been on that. Here, I got another one for you on that one. Right? Like,
what else you got in there?
Let's go. Like, Batna, one of the people that I admire most, his name is Q Gaskins. He's responsible for Allen Iverson's brand when he was at Reebok.
Cool.
And I had the opportunity to talk to him. He asked me, what was my Batna?
Yeah.
So what was my best alternative to reaching an agreement?
Ooh.
So if we were working a job, right, and say I put it all on the table, you put it all on the table, what am I good with?
Yeah.
If we're not meeting, if I'm not getting everything that I want, and you present me an option, am I good with that? Can I handle that? Or is it a fine line that I'm like, I'm not going to do this? And I think establishing that for yourself is like, what am I not going to settle for anymore?
Yeah, right.
Like,
right.
what's going to push me over the edge where I'm like, I can't do this anymore, and figuring out, like, okay, what's not going to push me over the edge, but what's going to keep me steady, right?
Yep.
So I think it's truly just figuring out, okay, what was my best alternative to not
awesome,
quitting,
though.
right? Like, what is it that I can hold on to? And it goes back to truly what I just said before is like, am I getting something out of this? Am I getting something? Because I've definitely been on the edge, but it's like, okay, I can't do that because realistically, I might need that check next week. So let's figure out something. Let me figure something out. Let me take some time. My best friend, she's actually a hothead, so she'll be quick. We got into some trouble at work because we were doing some freelance stuff, and they were like, "You're not supposed to be doing that." And so she was a hothead. She was just like, "Bump them. We're gonna keep doing it. Like, I don't care." And I was like, hold on, because we're not making no money right now. So like, hold on right quick, and let's like reevaluate this and make sure. But I'm always, don't react first.
Yes.
Don't react first. Take it home, sleep on it, figure out what's your Batna, what's the best alternative for you reaching that agreement, and then follow it. Follow through on it. Like I always set goals and I write them down. I speak them out loud. Any interview I was doing at the time, I was like, I want to be this. I'm going to be this. This is what I'm aiming for. And I kept reminding myself, like, this is what you want, right? This is what you want. So let's do the work to get there. And let's make sure everybody around you also knows what you want. Because, I don't know, you might be someone that knows someone and they're like, hey, actually, I knew somebody that was speaking about that. They want to do that. So let me connect you. And that's very powerful, too. It's just like making sure you communicate, right? Yeah. So I think that's just huge. Communication and just self-alignment.
Yeah. I love the self-alignment thing. Yeah. I never even thought about that. Was it alignment and harmony?
Alignment and harmony, man.
See, that's cool. That's almost a podcast on its own. I'm going to steal that. I'm going to steal that, okay? We're going to figure it out and how to actually make it.
Put me in the caption. Yes. Put me in the caption. I'm down for that.
Oh, girl. Okay, so then, what's the future look like for you? Because you're way too young to already be out of this.
That's the hardest part, right? And like that's been the hardest part of this like sabbatical. It's like, what's next? Everybody asks me, they're like, what are you doing next? What are you doing now? And I'm like, I have no clue. I love that for me, though. I love that for me because I did hit my ceiling pretty early. Yeah. I felt like, not even ceiling. I accomplished all my goals that I wanted. And I was like, okay, what do I want next? Yeah. And for me, right now, I'm really, really interested in driving impact. Yeah. So I want to affect people. I want to be a resource to people because I didn't know how to become a creative director. I didn't know what a creative director was. When they were asking me, like, what do you want to be after a senior designer? I didn't want to be a creative director because I didn't really understand what it was. And so now I'm just like constantly on podcasts. I'm writing. I'm doing things to try to figure out how to connect with people, because people are going to walk up to you and say, hey, how can I get there?
Yeah,
or how do you do that? And where do you go? I didn't even know how to charge freelance when I, first started freelance. And I was like,
I know, right?
I'm on Google like, oh man, how much should I charge for a mascot logo? I don't know.
Right? $50. $50.
It was like $2,000, and somebody looked at me. They were like, $2,000. I was just like, I don't know. Like, and so I'm trying to figure out like, how do you make that information accessible without, it's a touchy subject when you get to
It's
dollars
very touchy
sometimes, but
subject.
it's also like, how can you still be a resource though?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if you're
Yeah.
someone that's starting out and you really trying to figure it out, it's like, I want to slide in your DMs and ask you how much you make, but not really. And you have some paid transparency websites that are going around, but it's just like, okay, what do I do?
And
like,
they're not even that,
what are
they're not that
taxes?
accurate.
What is all this stuff?
Exactly.
Like, how do I communicate? How do I make a pitch deck? Things
Are you
like
going
that.
to stay in the sports area?
I'm open.
Yeah.
I'm open. Like, I'm doing some stuff right now, some sports, some not sports.
Yeah.
I'm just really just having fun.
Dude, think about it. You could start like a sports focused agency. You
Man.
can like offer everything from consulting to brand to like custom shoes. Shit, dude. You've already got that, right?
Man.
I don't know. You're there anyway.
We'll get there one day.
Excited.
We might
Yeah,
get there
yeah.
one day.
Yeah.
We might get there. I'm not opposed to it. Like, that was always the dream, honestly.
Yeah.
It was the dream, is to
Yeah.
work for myself, build a team.
Well, you've already proven you can build a team,
We can build teams,
and
yeah.
you've already proven that you know how to stroke egos, right? You know that game.
Like, I know how to communicate with the people that have money too. So
Yeah, right,
we're good,
right.
We're good.
And you know you can do it, and that's the thing. You know the value of hustle.
Hustle,
So,
man.
dude, like, I mean, so I'm gonna push that on you, but I mean, do what you want to do. But if you don't do it, you're crazy, in my opinion. But whatever. Hey, whatever.
I got you. I'll make sure I write. I'm gonna put you in my byline.
All right, make sure you do that.
You pushed me to do it. No.
Deal.
But definitely, like, I'm doing a little Etsy shop right now. Just making stuff, being creative, just having fun, man. I'm really just having fun doing brand collaborations. My goal right now, I'm gonna speak it. I want to do more activations. I want to do more activations. I've done it on the team side a ton, but now that I'm independent and I can work with whoever I choose, I really want to do a lot of activations. I go to everything, and I'm in Vegas, so it's a ton of conventions and shows.
Yeah,
I went to my first
totally.
boxing match the other day, and I was like, "You guys need some help." Like, we can make some cool stuff behind the scenes and stuff. Like, you guys are
dude.
slipping, so
Sounds so
So
exciting.
like-
you're seeing opportunity. That's-
seeing it's crazy because I'm trying to enjoy it, but at the same time, I'm like,
wait a second. You're lacking over
you're
here.
lacking over
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
We
yeah.
can do something dope. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, come on, it's nothing. Make a picture frame booth. That's all people want to do is take
Yeah,
selfies.
yeah,
Like, that's an
yeah.
easy activation right there, right? So, like, trying to get in that space. That's my next space that I
Yeah.
really want to tap into.
That's gonna be exciting to watch. We're gonna be watching you.
Yep,
Yep,
we will.
you got to watch me, please.
And then we'll do this again.
I'm down.
We'll do one of these podcasts
I'm
again,
down.
and we'll check in, right? Yeah, I'm gonna hold you
down.
accountable.
Okay.
Okay.
Deal.
And it's more for my own sake, so I can be like, wow, I'm living vicariously through you. Because
Let me
dude,
hit you
this guy's
guys.
got nothing in the sports space. Okay.
Hey,
you see
man.
this? You see this? Yeah, I know.
Man.
I look like I could be a professional player, but really, no, man, I don't got it.
You might have a little
Lacking in a few areas, right?
A little bit.
Yeah, what's your thoughts on pickleball?
Yeah.
Pickleball.
Oh, I'm pretty good at pickleball.
You're good at pickleball.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah,
I have
yeah. Right.
no idea how to play pickleball. I'm not gonna.
Well, in that case,
I keep
I am
seeing
like
it pop up.
world class level.
Yeah?
Just so you know.
So you're world class in pickleball, and I'm world class in Connect Four. So I'll
there you
take
go.
it. I'll take it. I'll take it. Can you play Connect Four?
Yeah, right. Not good enough. Not world class.
Oh man.
You get the
Oh,
math thing on me, right? So, yeah.
I was a bit of a nerd. My mom would buy me math puzzle books when
Yeah,
I was a
yeah,
kid.
yeah.
I was sitting in the back, and I do Sudokus every morning, Wordle,
Jeez, dude.
all that type of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, good on you, girl.
That's my
I'm glad we
go-to.
did this.
I'm glad we did
I'm
this too.
so glad that you came back, and I was like,
course.
oh my god, she's gonna kick my ass. I gotta find this girl. I gotta find this girl. Oh,
No,
I'm so
I was like, I gotta
glad.
find the two not angry guys. I gotta find them. I gotta find them.
The most angry designers. That's what we are.
No, we're angry designers. It takes a couple of revisions for us to get there. You know?
Yeah.
There we go.
Right. That's when you see it all.
There we go, man.
Sweet guys. Okay, so how can people find you?
Find me on the internet at Kpology1. So
Kpology.
Kpology1. Man, so someone tried to steal me, my identity, a couple years when I was shooting music videos back in the day. I was getting like a good response in the city, and all of a sudden someone else, it was Kpology. And I went to change my profile name just one time, and someone took it.
They nabbed it.
And they started acting like they were shooting videos as me.
No.
And so then I was like, I got to add the one. So I've had it forever
but
now, and
number
it's like,
one.
I'm
That's
number
okay. I
one,
like
though.
that.
I'm number
I like
one.
that.
The
I
only
like that.
one.
You know what? You can spin on that on so many levels.
One.
You're good.
So Kpology 1 or KP Made It is my little
I love that
crafting,
one. Yeah. I
crafting
love
situation.
KP
It's like, who
Made It.
made that? KP made that. Okay.
Yeah. Wait, and is that because I know you've got your Etsy store. Is that how they find you?
Yeah, that's Etsy. KP Made is on Instagram and Etsy, and then Kpology is me as the person all over the place. So Kpology, the science behind it, KP. So Kpology.
Oh, I love this.
That's great.
Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna do this again for sure.
I'm down anytime.
Yeah, but this is fun.
Anytime. I
Good.
got this in my house, so we'll talk.
Yeah, for sure. All right, everybody. I hope you
you.
got something from this. What else do I got to say? She said it all. She kind of stole the stone.
I talk too much, guys.
No, that's all right. It was a nice change for once, because generally I do that. All right, everybody. With that being said, my name's Massimo.
My name is Sean.
And you are?
KP.
Stay creative.
And stay angry.
Peace.